What's up, everybody? Dead Girl here. Happy Wednesday! I hope you guys are having a fantastic week so far. Before we get to our guest this evening, I just wanted to kind of pop in and let you guys know that our new intro and outro music was provided to us by Midnight Syndicate. The song is Born of the Night off of their Born of the Night album. It is copyrighted, all rights are reserved. Midnight Syndicate did give us permission to use their music, and they've got a new album coming out, so make sure you check out their website, www.midnightsyndicate.com. Without further ado, let's get to that guest. Joining me this evening is a good friend of ours, writer, director, many talents, jack of all trades, Mr. Chris Ballinger.
Hello, everyone. How are we doing?
How are you doing today?
I'm great. I'm doing well. Thank you.
Yeah, everything's good. Getting back to, I guess, the way that things used to be now?
Kinda. Yeah. Things are slowly getting back. And like we were just talking about before, Halloween's coming up, so hoping to do all those attractions this year. So
I'm ready.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
I was ready as of November, but I mean,
we were ready last year, but that didn't happen. So
yeah, this year will be better.
This year it'll be better. Absolutely. So, but thank you for having me. I'm happy to be here.
Thank you for coming on. I love having you on. You're always you're a fantastic guest, number one, and you're so easy to talk to. But some folks may not be familiar with you or, what you do or things like that. But go ahead and tell us a little bit about you, if you would, please.
Sure. Yeah, like you said, I'm Chris Ballinger. I'm a local independent filmmaker here in Orlando. On the side, that's my passion that I love to do. I started this passion in the early 2000s, wanting to act. So I started taking acting lessons and acting around here, driving all over Florida, auditioning, like we all do. And I happened to do a local feature film here, a low budget feature film here, and I was the stand-in. I was actually the stand-in for Alan Thicke, if you know Alan Thicke.
Really?
Yeah, he was a really nice guy, and I was, as you know, as stand-in, I was his height, so I fit the bill. So, not much requirements, just you're the same height as him. But on that set, as a stand-in, you get to see everything, and you get to see all the behind-the-scenes stuff. So I was like, all right, this is, pushing to be an actor so much that I'm like, oh, I kind of like this acting stuff. So I did some acting production school, and excuse me, and then I found that I really liked behind the scenes stuff, and especially writing and directing, which has led me to where I am today. Florida is a very commercial heavy acting, so yes. I was like, want to be in film, so why don't I just do my own films, and I'll put myself in films, or I'll just do the behind the scenes and write them and stuff like that. So that's how I ended up doing that. And one day I said, that's it. I'm going to write a film, a short film. My friend John Connon, local actor here, amazing, talented actor, writer. I said, I wrote this, and this is your name all over it. Can you help me? And he helped me with everything, pre-production, casting, and that's from there. I did 3 short movies that year, and just been going nonstop-ish since then. COVID kind of slowed down the whole world, but
yeah,
like we said, hopefully that's getting back to it. So yeah, that's what I am. I mean, like most film people, I have a day job on the side, unfortunately. But
maybe one day that will not be a thing. You won't need that.
Yeah. I mean, I was always working towards that goal of working in entertainment, getting paid to do what you love to do. So
that's the thing. I think that's what we're all working for, because that old saying is, if you do what you love, you never work a day in your life.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is like I can go on set for 15, 14 hours a day, and you're like, oh my God, really? It's 9 o'clock at night already, and you go to work and you're like, okay, when's my first break, kind of thing. So
right.
It is something. If you love it, then you don't recognize that it's just have fun kind of thing. So yeah.
Now, you do all of the things. So you act, you write, you direct. Do you have one that you love a little bit more than the other?
Absolutely. And it's funny, it took me a while, and I think it even took me doing all the, you know, being a filmmaker and like doing those things, and you help other filmmakers here. There are local independent filmmakers, and you're like, hey, I'll help you out, be a first AD, or I'll help you out with sound or something like that. And you kind of learn the role, what you like. It's kind of like film school in a way.
Okay.
So it's taken me a little while to figure that out, but the best thing I like to do is write. It's my most favorite thing. I don't know how that happened, because English was never my big thing in school. I always go to my mother and like, how do I spell this? And I'm like, so, but I just like being that creative and making up the story. And I just realized that's where the actors act it and the filmmakers film it, but the writer is the one who starts it. It comes from their head. It's the one who created it. They came up with this idea. They wrote these characters, and they crafted this great story. So that's what I like. Plus, it's me and my computer screen. I'm not against anybody else. I don't have to, I'm not fighting against anybody else. I'm fighting against myself to get those words on the page. So it's not a fight, but it's definitely a challenge. It's a lot more challenge than I ever thought it would be to write. It's a really competitive and tough area, just like any entertainment pretty much is.
Absolutely. Now, speaking of writing, you have a series that we did the short for, but now it's grown past that, and you're currently working on a web series called Little Z. What do people need to know about Little Z? Because I mean, the title alone, when I hear Little Z, I think of kids and zombies, because Little Z.
Yeah, well, you would be right. You'd be on the right track, and of course, a little more, because since you've helped us out from the beginning on the short movie, and you've helped us out with the interviews that we did for the crowdfunding, which we'll talk about later. But yeah, well, first I want to say it was going to be a web series. Now I'd like it be more than maybe be on the web. If any kind of platform that I could get it on would be really amazing.
Okay.
But yes, Little Z has to do with a little zombie girl, a preteen zombie girl, and her stepdad. Those are the two main people that we deal with in this series. It takes place after a zombie apocalypse has happened. It's about 10 years after that's happened now. Zombies and humans kind of get along.
Okay. They kind of coexist.
They kind of coexist.
Okay.
So I wanted to kind of do that little kind of throw it in that they can coexist. But there is a curfew. They have to be in before a certain curfew. But since the apocalypse has happened, this evil corporation has taken over the city and the police department. Now, the stepdad, so let me back up. The story starts with Scott, the sheriff's deputy, marrying into the family, marrying Lisa, and she happens to have Lily, this preteen zombie.
Okay.
So he works for the police department, which has been corrupted by this evil corporation. So what the evil corporation wants is for them to go out and round up all the young zombies for testing, which we don't know why yet.
Okay.
Because the audience will find out in the journey of the series why they want them for testing. So, it is about a blended family learning how to get along, because Scott's never had to deal with this before, and then you have Lily, the young zombie, who is just trying to fit in life. She doesn't fit in at school. She gets bullied at school. She looks different, and she feels different, and it's tough for her. Now, on the other side, Scott's kind of the same way. Yeah, he's a by the book, sheriff, more passive kind of guy.
Yeah.
And he doesn't completely fit in at work. He gets picked on at work because he doesn't agree with this going after and chasing the young zombies. And now even more, now that he has a stepdaughter, he is very much conflicted between his job as catching these young zombie kids for testing, and then
he has one.
And now he has one.
Yeah.
So now he has to try to keep her safe. So there's conflicted. So it's them learning to get along and realizing that they're more alike than they realize. They don't realize in the beginning how alike they are.
Right.
So throughout the series, you see that they actually come together to defend and protect them, from Evil Corp and everybody else that's after them.
Well, it's kind of,
there are some people after them.
I mean, it's that simple, I guess, reality of whenever you're marrying, whether you're a guy or a girl, and you're marrying into a family and there's already kids there, it's that challenge for that other husband or wife or whatever to try to connect with the kid. Because of course you've already won the spouse over. That challenge is done, but now you've got to win over the kid, and kids are rough.
Yes, and she's a preteen, so so it's already rough enough. But then you add in that she's a zombie. She has these animalistic urges.
Mm-hmm.
They run into a few things of her doing some things that Scott's like, oh my God, we're going to jail, and this is we're done for. But so it's very tough that with her being a preteen zombie, and it does deal with like normal family stuff at the same time. It's just you add that other stuff in, and because I call it hijinks, because it is a horror comedy with some kind of campy stuff in there, because I like to do comedy, and it to me it's a lighthearted way to deal with a very difficult subject of feeling different, not fitting in, and people that look different, sound different, different views, anything like that. It deals with bullying, which is a serious subject that's in the news all the time these days. And Lily does get bullied at times because she looks different and sounds different and is different.
She's not your typical kid. She's got issues. She doesn't quite, I mean, she looks pretty close to human and not zombie-ish, as long as she's got the face on.
Yes, as long as she has the makeup on, they have to hide her for that, because so she doesn't want to hide. She's like, Mom, I don't want to hide. I want to be normal, and stuff like that, because they always say she's special, and she's like, I just want to be normal, So it's a tough road that she has. And then Scott just wants to, like you said, impress and get along with his new stepdaughter, but also deal with his work issues as well. So he's in a tough spot.
Was it difficult to tackle bullying from the child's perspective as well as from the adult perspective? Because when most people think about bullying, they automatically associate it with kids. They don't necessarily associate it with adults. Because, whenever somebody brings that up, it's like, oh, that poor kid. But no, grown-ups get bullied too.
Right. No, yeah, it's it's funny when you write stuff, like all the stuff I've written. Somebody talked to me the other day about it, and they're like, hey, you write this way, you write about these issues, and I'm like, oh yeah, I do. So I'm like, so I've had issues where I've not fit in and been picked on and not necessarily bullied some, but I've also felt like I didn't fit in, and I just, because of the way I thought or the way I looked or things like that. So it hurts. It does hurt at times. So you really actually, when you write about that, and sometimes you don't even realize you're writing that until the end. You're like, oh my God, you just had to get it out on the page kind of thing. So yeah.
It's very interesting how, and I don't mean to say interesting, I always find it thought-provoking when people write something that's, I want to say, like, deeper than what it really is on the surface. So if you look at something like Little Z, and if you guys haven't yet, go watch the short. I believe it's still up on your YouTube channel, isn't it?
It is, absolutely. Yeah.
That's Ballinger Films. Go check that out, just to give you guys an idea of what we're talking about. It's phenomenal. Of course, after you're done watching us, go check that out later. Yeah. The link will be down below.
No rush. It's still there. It'll be there.
But it's definitely, it's such a wonderful little short that I really, really can't wait to see where it goes. But it's it's fun that you take your own experiences and you inadvertently put them into a film or into a short or into a series, because it's not like you're just pulling them out of anywhere. So it gives people, I think, an insight to the writer a little bit more than what they intend to.
Yeah, absolutely. I absolutely. I always looked at it like a songwriter wrote from their feelings, because you always hear the artist is like, oh, they broke up here and they got married here, or that
Yes.
thing, because these are their songs. And I'm like, I never looked at a screenwriter like that. Like, this is, but it really is, just, it is myself, things that I've dealt with throughout the years, and they come out on that page. And yeah, it's a horror comedy, but that's what I love, is horror and comedy. So that's what's going to come out in that kind of genre. But
it's a happy mix.
Yeah. I always wonder how people take horror comedy, because it's such a niche genre. So some people don't like horror, and some people, but usually people like comedy. So
I think if folks like comedy, it's, without looking at the horror aspect of it, like, Little Z is funny. It's got some great comical moments. So it's one of those things. And I've got some questions coming in from the chat, which are very good. So I wanted to ask, I've got one of our friends, Brian, is asking where you got your inspiration from for Little Z. Now, I know the answer to this one, but I'll let you tell it.
You do know the answer. It's actually a good little story, a combination of a couple things. My first short that I wrote, called Art of the Deal, it showed at one of the film festivals here in Orlando. It did really well, and their next challenge was a horror challenge, and the little girl that was in Art of the Deal she's Lily, Little Z, and she was obviously she was shorter and younger now. She's actually, so it's been a couple of years since that is, and they grow like crazy.
Yes.
And she was like, hey, Mr. Chris, she calls me Mr. Chris, and she said, I want to be in a horror movie. And I was like, and her mother was like trying to shoo her away, because she was like, don't bug them, don't pressure them to do that. And I was like, no, that's a great idea. I want to do that. That sounds great, because I love horror movies and stuff like that. So I said, let's do it. But I didn't tell her right away. I went home and I wrote it like, I don't know, maybe a day or so.
Wow.
It came out pretty quick. Sometimes those things some of them you fight against, and then some of them just come right out. But and at that time I was watching Santa Clarita Diet on Netflix. So I said, hey, why don't I just change it up a little bit, make it a little zombie girl, and voila. That was the general gist of it. And now it's just grown to like this whole, world that I've built. The backstory of the evil corporation, and more backstory on all the characters since I did the short.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Which it definitely does have that Santa Clarita Diet feel, and the fact that it's suburban. So it's not like they're hiding or they're living in the wilderness or anything like that. Like they're in suburbia, and it's a family-friendly neighborhood, and they're dealing with these zombie issues. So I can definitely see the Santa Clarita Diet.
That's the thing, is I took that concept. So it's not like copied. It's not like that show, but I took that concept of, just like you said, suburbia, family. They walk around like, Lily walks around normal at school kind of thing, because she's hiding. And they have this major, not lie, but they have this major secret that they can't tell anybody. And that was the same thing as on there. It was like they had this huge secret they had the fight against, which was she was a zombie. So.
Yeah. And now, I mean, if they find out, then Lily she has that potential of being taken away and experimented on, which no parent wants that for their child. Let's be real about that. Even if, step parent doesn't really want that either, unless the kid's a nightmare, which,
Yeah, so that's a huge backstory too of why they want her. So it's an interesting concept that I came up with, that why they want these young kids there's only certain amount of them they want.
Will we get some of that in the series as the series goes along, I'm imagining?
Yeah, actually in the first because I have 6 episodes, so the first 6 you'll find out a lot more about the back of why Scott does what he does, why they're after Lily, and what they're after Lily for, and maybe there's a group of these kids hiding out somewhere.
Oh, okay. So it's definitely stay tuned for when that does come out. Now I've got some fun little pictures when you guys were putting together the crowdfunding. You did some fun photo shoots and some very, very fun things. And this was one of my favorites that I found. I dug through your Facebook a little bit. So this, yes, we've got Lily, and then we've got stepdad, and then we have you're in this as well.
Yes. Yeah, I play Joe. I'm a more hard-nosed cop. I'm his partner, and I give him a hard time because I just understand why I don't like all this cop stuff and chasing zombies. And I'm like, because I'm single, I don't have a stepdaughter. Because I don't even know about, Lily's backstory or what's going on with her until maybe later on. So.
Oh, okay. So but you know the family, you just don't know what the deal is.
Yeah. Okay. I'm in the dark of Lily and this whole thing that she is a zombie. But I do know the family. I'm friends with them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now this is going to go, you said 6 episodes?
That was I wrote 6 episodes. So that was the whole thing, as I wanted to do, because we already shot the pilot, but we were going to shoot the pilot over. We already shot the first short, which is the pilot, but we're going to shoot that over because we are adding some more scenes into it because of limitations we had in the beginning, shooting the short movie. So those scenes will be added in, and then 5 more episodes to make it a 6-episode package that I'm trying to either get on a platform or have it get picked up, sell, or something like that.
How long are the episodes going to be?
They're like 15 minutes ish.
Okay.
I think the episode 6 is like 20 because there's a big
crescendo of like the finale.
The crescendo of the finale is like, it's always a little longer, right, on everything that you watch.
Yes. So, yeah. Okay. So are you guys going to be just doing the 1 season? Have you thought about doing additional seasons?
Yeah. Depending on how it goes, because that's a whole nother animal that I really need to dive into, is distribution, because people have asked me, so what are you going to do with this thing? And I'm like, God, I got to think of that more. It was like, I really wanted to just get it on a platform or get it sold or picked up by something. It's like the calling card to be like, hey, this is what we can do. Right. Can we get more money for the next season? So I did write 2 more outlines of seasons. So I have outlines of season 2 and outlines of how season 3 will go. But I haven't written any episodes yet. So.
Okay. It's a good thing though to be able to look forward to see, what else, where it could go from where it's going to end up. I have no idea, by the way, people, just so you know. I know as much as everyone else.
The thing is, when you put a package together, they call it a pitch deck. So you make a pitch deck of the whole, of what it is, who do you want to play your characters, like real Hollywood people. You put them in, so and you put in like what it looks like and sounds like, and that was the thing, is like I wrote those other seasons just so they could see, because when you do an episodic or serial, they want to know that it can run for seasons. If a production is going to invest in you, they want it for seasons, not for just 1 season.
They want the long haul. They're looking at that.
They need to know it's going to be a long haul series kind of thing. More than I wrote, like 5-6 seasons kind of thing.
Okay. Have you thought about tossing it to like Netflix or Hulu?
Yeah, there's guidelines on that. I know there's guidelines on Netflix how you shoot it and stuff, I believe. So it's something that this is a secret. I should know more about distribution and but yes, those are something I'd like to do. For right now, it's I think it's just more of a calling card to be like, hey, this is what we can do. This is what we shot. Can we get funded for more episodes, or can I sell this series to a production company to pick up, and they shoot it. They shoot it for realsies.
Okay, for realsies. Now, I know we met some characters from the short. We met quite a few. We met Jack and Jill. We've met
Yes.
Lily, Chris. We've met Lisa. So, do you have any more characters that are going to be coming into the series?
Yeah, we do. Because it's funny because the short that I shot, it ends with a doorbell ringing, and they just turn and then they're like, like holy crap,
Yes.
So if you haven't seen the episode, that first you have to go see what happened prior to that, so you know why they are all freaked out. But those are their neighbors at the door. So we got these quirky neighbors. They're the nosy. It's kind of typical, but they're the nosy neighbors that are always suspicious and always think something's going on, and they're always like scheming to to catch them doing something wrong. So they're suspicious. And they have a son that always bugs Lily, and he's annoying to Lily. Drives her crazy. I also have a dad next door, the hot guy dad next door, and he has a daughter that's Lily's best friend, Abby. She's like this goth girl, so she's always like, doesn't care. She's like, it's sunny outside, I don't care, that kind of thing. She's got that deadpan kind of that humor to her, so she's funny. Lily has some kids at school that she knows that are picking on her, but they come up to find out that one of the leader of that gang that picks on her, they actually have something. They might have something in common, so they might have to work together down the road.
Okay.
So yeah, there's some goofballs, and then like you said, Jack and Jill, the people from Evil Corp that met their demise in the first episode. They come back. They're coming back.
Yes.
They're the comic relief that goes through, because they're the bumbling people that can never get their job done, but keep their job somehow. So
I think we all know some of those.
Yes, right. We
all know some of those people.
Yeah. So yeah, I wrote them in. It was funny because my whole thing was like just to have them killed off in the first, because it was a movie and it was just going to get killed off. But then it was like, okay, I'm going to episode. I'm like, oh well, I just killed them off. That's too bad. And then.
But wait.
I sat down after the premiere with some of the cast, and they're like, so what's going to happen? And I'm like, we actually kind of did a round table there and came up with, they're like, no, they don't have to die. They just got bit by, Lily. They're going to, they can come back as
sun. They can turn. Those
they
are
can turn,
those
right?
Zombie rules. You get bit and you turn.
So it was like this cool thing that we all just sat around and came up with that idea on that spot that night.
That's awesome.
It was cool. Over a couple drinks and some food. So
that's, what, some of the best ideas are born that way.
Best ideas are born right there. Absolutely.
Now, you had talked earlier about funding, and you guys are running a crowdfunding campaign to try to raise some cash so that this series can happen, which, yay! First of all. And you guys have gotten some really, really cool perks. So let's talk a little bit about the crowdfunding campaign. Is that, how difficult is it to put something together like that? Because I can imagine there's, all kinds of stuff that goes into that.
I'm surprised I have all my hair. I thought I pulled it all out now. Yeah, we're 2 weeks in today, actually, into a 6-week campaign. So we have 4 weeks left. It is difficult. It's more difficult than I ever thought it would be. I went with this company called Seed and Spark. They are out of California. They do basically handle just independent film makers. Because other crowdfunding sites like Kickstarter or Indiegogo or stuff like that, you can crowdfund for anything. I need some money and crowdfund for anything. This one is only for films and stuff like that. So I was really interested in that, and they do a lot of education. So I really kind of gravitated towards them. But there was I had to watch all these videos that they make you watch, and then I had to fill out all the, if you go on the site, which we'll talk about later, if you go on the site, I had to fill that out in and put all the pictures in there and all the graphics and all the text and come up with all the incentives. That was the other thing, because we'll talk about that shortly. People that donate to the campaign, you get an incentive for that. So that's a thing with any kind of crowdfunding campaign, is that if you give that kind of money, you're going to get that incentive on that tier in return for, that's the thank you for giving your hard-earned cash away. But yeah, it was difficult because I had to talk to all these people to get all these incentives and negotiate that kind of stuff and figure out what's best. And the incentives have to be geared towards your campaign. So they're all kind of zombie-ish in a way. You have to get, the best thing that works with crowdfunding is direct access. So that includes emails. So I collected over 350 emails of people. So I've emailed people, and now I'm personally emailing people every day.
Wow.
So that it's a process. I get up and social media stuff every day. But social media only reaches 1% to 2% of the crowd. So it's the direct access, direct emails, talking to people directly on like WhatsApp or Messenger, or just I've messaged people nonstop saying, hey, just follow along if you like, because ultimately a crowdfunding campaign is the money thing, but it's really to gain an audience. Because if you're going to be a filmmaker for some time, you want to gain that following. You want to gain people that like your films and that like your work. So it is to get the word out there that you gain the following, and then as you get more followers, the money comes along with it. So yeah, it's been, and then you have to shoot a pitch video, which you know that. So we shot a pitch video for it, which gives you kind of an overview of what the story's about and what the story is kind of like, related to other films or shows like that kind of thing. And then we did interviews with you. You were gracious enough to come along, and we interviewed all the cast and crew. Took cast and crew pictures to release so people can see more about the people as well. Because I want to showcase them as well. As like you and everybody else. It's like everybody is talented and everybody is a great. Most of those people that are on the cast and crew are filmmakers themselves. So it's good to get their name out there, and hey, give them a little shout out as well.
You definitely have a very talented plethora of people, with the cast and with the crew, and they've all got their hands in different pots, whether it's with acting or directing or cinematography or lighting or sound or all the things. Like it seems like almost everybody is kind of got their toes in different fields, so to speak.
They do. And it was funny because that day that you were there to help us with the interviews, that's the first time we had the whole cast back since 2019.
Wow, it's been a while.
When we shot it, and it was just like a reunion kind of thing, and everybody was so super excited. They're like, let's do this, and so it was nice to see. It's a good feeling to know that people are there and on board and super excited to do this project.
Passionate, and it's like you guys. It's like nobody ever left. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's like it was just like, oh, I saw you yesterday. Is kind of like what that vibe was, and that's fantastic.
It did feel like that. Yeah, absolutely. Everybody respected everybody.
Yes, it was a lot of fun. So thank you for letting me be a part of that and to help with that. I was very touched, and I'm very flattered. So a big thank you for letting me.
Yeah,
absolutely. So let's talk about some of these tiers, these donation tiers that you guys have got, because okay, I did not expect there to be what there was. So let's kind of get into this a little bit, because most people think crowdfunding campaigns, and we talked about this a little bit earlier, is when anytime somebody's like, hey, I want to make a thing, can you donate some money? People immediately go like, well, I have to donate, hundreds of dollars. But that's not the case. Like,
no,
at all.
No, the incentives start out at the whole goal is to give you a big range. So for what for everybody, whatever you can or can't donate, it's on there. So this one starts at $10. You know, it's
Pull these up here for folks to
yeah,
see.
yeah. The $10 one is a basic one that most campaigns do. It's a huge thank you to everybody, which I can't thank them enough for just even coming on the site and looking at it. So the $10 one is a social media shout out, and then the $15 one will be a link to. You'll get a link you'll see it before anybody else. You get a link to the series once it's been edited and post production.
So you kind of get like a little preview.
Yeah. For $15. I mean, it's not bad.
That's pretty good for $15.
Yeah.
That's like lunch at McDonald's.
Yeah, these days, yeah, it's lunch at McDonald's, right? So yeah, it starts out at $10.
Nice.
So and every little bit is appreciated very much. So.
Let's see what else we got here. You also got where it gets into a little bit more. So you've got your $25 and your $50.
Yeah, the photoshopped one is you'll give me a picture and we're gonna Photoshop it into a zombie picture, like
nice.
It is here. Like this wedding couple are getting chased by these zombies for $25. For $50, this one will be behind the scenes. This one's a good one because this will be all of how the series is shot, behind the scenes video of the whole series, how it was shot. So you'll get to see everything from casting to the on set stuff, all the special effects stuff, how we get that stuff ready, which will be all you guys. So we'll video that and just how a set works and all the funny stuff that happens behind the scenes as well. So I'm super excited. I want that one myself. I want to see that.
Yeah. Well, not even that, but like so starting at the $10 where you get the the shout out and then you get the link. I noticed that as it goes up, you're still gonna get the link to the series before it's that wide release, and then with the $50, you also get a signed copy of the script.
Yes. Yep.
Now, is that signed by cast and crew, or is that signed by like you exclusively?
No, I'll be cast and crew.
Awesome.
Yep.
That's pretty cool. What else do we got here for you guys? Let's see.
Oh, yeah. This one's good. The limited. I actually just showed you the edition poster. So
it's amazing. I'm just gonna put that out there right now.
It blew me away. It's by a local actor, Daniel Noble. Really great actor here in Orlando, but I didn't realize, because everybody has a talent you don't realize that they have,
Yeah.
So, which is funny. So he's like, no, I know how to do this. So I made this really cool, had him make this really cool graphic novel poster for Little Z. So it's a different poster than we've ever had. It's amazing. I love it. So that's that. The $200 is just it's a good one too, because you'll get to hang out with us and the cast, the food and some drinks, and plus all the other ones. You get the limited edition poster and a copy of behind the scenes and all the other stuff as well. So
oh wow,
that comes along with that. So
now,
that's a chance to to hang out with us and talk to us, and you get a couple drinks and
maybe pick your brains a little bit about some things.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, is the party with the dead, I'm assuming, is that going to be just for the people that donated the $200 with the cast and the crew, or is that going to be like a separate thing in its own?
That'll be a party with the cast and the crew and whoever donated $200 and above. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So theoretically, like, I could donate $200 and my cousin could donate $200, and we would both be able to come and to hang out and to have some drinks and get some pictures.
Absolutely.
That's pretty awesome.
Absolutely.
Dude, we've got some good perks. And again, that poster it's so good. I can't wait for you guys to see it. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, when I saw it, I didn't have him change anything really after he did it. I was just like, you nailed it on the head with it. I was just like, it's because it's usually not the way when you're doing something, you have a back and forth. especially like films, when you're editing films and stuff and
Yeah.
like that kind of thing. You're like, oh no, just change this a little bit, change this a little bit, because they don't know exactly what you're doing.
Right.
But with that, I was like, nope, good, I love it. He was like, what? So
That's pretty good. He hit it on the head because it's very comic booky feel and just it's
comical and yeah,
it's
live
got,
and there's action to it. Yeah, it was just
yes,
everything I wanted in it. So.
It's pretty rad. If I can push one thing, I would push that pretty hard. And the behind the scenes
if you
stuff
like
would
graphic
be
novel stuff,
good.
then comic books and graphic novel stuff, it's pretty neat.
It's definitely going to be a perk that would appeal to you.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, we've got a couple more perks that we wanted to talk about. Let's pop these bad boys up here. Now you've also got, and this one's really cool. Actually, they're all really cool, but this I love a sketch. So you've got a Wanted Dead or Alive sketch. So
yes, and that's Mike. I'm drawing a blank with his name. You know who the artist is? Why can't I think of his name? The gentleman you interviewed.
Steve Nedley.
Steve Nedley. Yes. Whew, thank you. I had his name and I just lost his name. Yes, he's on board to do a sketch to make you look like you'll send us a picture or whatever you want, of yourself, and then he will turn it into like it's not going to say wanted, but it's going to look like a wanted and dead, wanted poster kind of view, like half done, half, just it's going to, I can see the vision in my head of what it's going to look like. And I think it'll look so cool that you'll look like a wanted zombie poster. So.
That's gonna, if you like art, definitely that's gonna be something that you're gonna want to snag. And if you haven't checked out Steve Nedley's art, do so. I'll link that down below in the description also, because
he's amazing.
Yes,
when you did that when you interviewed him, and I watched him because he drew the whole time he interviewed, which was another talent. You can draw and talk be interviewed at the same time.
Yeah, I don't know how he can multitask like that, but that's pretty good.
But I looked at his art and I was like, oh my god, I need him. I need him. And then the associate producer, they start getting up a little higher. The associate producer is you get credit, IMDb credit as a producer on this. Which is IMDb is the thing that everybody wants to be on if you're in the film business. It's your calling card. Right?
Yes, absolutely is. And I mean, you also get all the other fun stuff too. You get the onset.
Yeah. You get everything.
What is that? Includes onset zombie makeup? What?
Where's that one?
That's part of the associate producers listed there.
Oh yes. That was something that we talked with you guys about. Well, JD. So he might have not mentioned that with you. Yes.
The husband, yes, he did. He did mention it. I spaced on that for a moment, but that's pretty cool. So you can actually come on set, get some zombie makeup done. That's pretty rad. Yeah. And that also includes the cocktail
by a real
party
makeup
and
artist.
Stuff. Yes, my husband is a talented man. Let me just plug him real quick.
By a real live special makeup artist. Yes, absolutely.
I'm gonna plug away JD Ellis, Postmortem Effects. He's amazing, and I'm not just saying that because I married him. He really does some cool stuff.
Yeah, no, it's great. We're looking forward to doing some more stuff.
I cannot wait to play with Blood and Guts. I'm just gonna put that out there right now. And I think I've got two more perks that we've got here. Let's just pull these up real quick. We've got the Zip Pass, which is Okay, so what is this?
It's a zombie VIP pass.
Okay.
So for the premiere, you can rent out the Enzion Theater in Maitland.
Oh my god, I love that place.
I love that place too. So anybody can rent that out. So that will be where the premiere will happen.
Okay.
So this is a pass to it. So you'll get in, you'll get drink, you'll get some snacks, and you'll get to be VIP at the premiere of this series, which will be showing some other local filmmakers as well. So there'll be a couple local films in the beginning, and then mine will show for the feature kind of thing.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah, so it'll be a whole thing,
Yes. Yeah. And then your last one.
Oh yeah, on the set, that's that's like the everything. You come on set, you get to shadow me for the whole day, and you get to see all the behind the scenes. You get a small walk-on role on set as well.
Oh,
So
that's really cool.
yeah.
Now, so, okay, and just to be clear, so that everybody listening and watching understands this, if you if you donate the amount of money and you get one of those, like, the VIP part, the release party, or the on-set for a day, or your makeup done while you're there, that does not include travel expenses or lodging.
Right. Yeah. If you're out of town.
Just saying, you're going to have to road trip it on your dime to make it down, because it costs a little more than, that, depending on where you're flying from. So, just throwing that out there so you guys don't,
Yeah, I wish I could, but then that would wipe out the whole money that I get. So, yeah.
But those are some really great perks.
Yeah. It goes, it's $10 to $2,000. So, yeah. And there's a couple more coming down the road.
Okay.
In a couple weeks as well. So 2 more will be added. So check those out as well.
All right. Now, is there a minimum? Is the $10 like the minimum that someone could donate to the crowdfunding?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
and you can get on to and follow. There's a follow button if you just want to follow the campaign. Maybe you don't have the money now, or you don't want to donate.
Yeah.
It means a lot to me just if you just follow as well. Become part. We call it become part of the Little Z family.
Yes.
And follow us on this journey to make this. And that's the whole thing with a crowdfunding, is it's not just me and you and our filmmakers that are doing this. It's everybody that helps out, they're making the film as well.
Yeah.
Everybody. It's not just, oh, hey, thank you for the money. Nope. It's like you're included in everything.
You become a part of it.
You become a part of it, and you'll be notified with everything going on throughout the process of it, and you become part of it. That's the cool thing about a crowdfund, is you're actually become part of a movie making experience.
That's really awesome. See,
yeah.
I did not know that the Seed and Spark was a thing until you decided that's what you were going to use, and you shared that with that information, because your average Joe thinks of the other platform, Kickstarter and GoFundMe's and things like that. So I didn't realize there was a whole separate one specific for filmmakers.
Yeah, that's why I went with them, and it was a woman in LA that started it in 2013, 2015, somewhere in there. 2013, okay. I think. But I found her on YouTube, because YouTube is your best teacher these days. And she did a whole thing about crowdfunding. I was like, So I went and checked them out, and they had all these videos, and they do all these educational things all the time for free.
Oh, wow.
So, they're really here to promote the independent filmmaker, which I really liked.
Yes.
More than the other ones.
Well, that's how you start. You always start as an independent, and then you grow as things happen, and then you grow
Correct.
To bigger, not, I don't want to say better, because I don't want to.
Just bigger.
Just bigger.
They give you more money.
They pay you lots of monies, which is great.
They give you more money to make your film. That's pretty much how it goes. It's from little money, independent,
to like big money. But
money,
it's nice that there's that group out there that recognizes, like, everybody starts small. You don't immediately just make it big tomorrow. You start somewhere, So I think that's a fantastic platform.
Oh yeah. That's the thing, is like you need to get out there and do it, because the more and more I learn about filmmaking and writing and stuff, it's just like all these great people that you see. Mm-hmm. You read you can get a hold of some of their stuff from the beginning, and you're like, really? They wrote this? This is horrible. And I'm like. So it's just like, wow, they all were horrible at one time.
Yeah.
And now they're not. So.
Or you go to like the Peter Jackson route, where you have a film like Dead Alive that is nothing but a gore fest and lovely to Lord of the Rings. So, it's always fun to go back to where, directors, writers came from.
I've tried to watch that movie, and it's
Dead Alive?
Yeah.
It's a slow build.
Slow burn. Yeah,
It's
okay.
a slow burn. I will say that it's definitely a slow burn, but once it gets going,
Yeah, it's going.
It's going, and it pays off in the blood and guts department like no movie I think I've ever seen.
Right. And I would have never guessed it was Peter Jackson unless you tell me that. But I already,
Nope.
unless you know that. But yeah.
I didn't know initially. Like, I had seen it previously, and I didn't connect the names. And then when Lord of the Rings came out, I was like, oh my god, okay,
Right, he did that.
This is great. So it's you can always go back to see where they started from, and to your point, like, oh my god, they did this, but then they do, you go to these amazing things. So I can't wait to see the amazing things that you continue to and go to do.
Well, thank you.
Because I love your stuff. I'm a big fan.
Thank you. No, thank you. I appreciate it.
Now, folks, if you want to donate, you're going to want to go to the crowdfunding. I got the link. I'll link it down below also. So if you want to type it into your browsers, feel free. Go check it out. All the donation tiers are there. There's all kinds of photos. There's all kinds of great information that you can get just by visiting that Seed and Spark link. So make sure that you do that.
Yes.
Just saying. So
Please.
pretty please with sugar on top. And if you can't donate the monies, that's fine.
Just follow us.
Follow, share. It's free to share.
And share.
It doesn't
Yes,
cost
please share.
any money to share a link out or to follow on Instagram or the or Seed and Spark or Facebook or any of those platforms. So that's always helpful too. So make sure that you guys go on and you do that. So thank you so much for joining us tonight. I had a couple of quick questions come in from the chat, and I know the answer to this already. But first of all, let me see your shirt.
Oh, do you?
Yes.
Have you seen? I had to wear that.
So I will say this, and
It was at the chats. The people
yes,
in the chat,
well,
they
somebody
recognized
was
the shirt.
asking me if it was from Buc-ee's, and I immediately was like, no, that's not a Buc-ee shirt. That's a Willy's Wonderland shirt. I am one of the very few people that I know in my life I do not like Nicolas Cage.
Okay, well, yeah.
I'm not a fan of him at all, but I absolutely loved Willy's Wonderland.
You did? Okay.
I did, and I'm assuming it's probably because he did not say a word in the
Yeah.
entire film, but it's phenomenal. I had such a fun time with it. I really was a big fan. So I saw the top of the shirt, and I knew immediately what it was, and I got so happy.
Yeah, I'm like, I have to wear this. It took me a lot to get this shirt. They're hard to find. Like, you go on their site, and they're sold out.
Oh, I'm sure.
But yeah, it's simple, but it's just a fun ride. Some of those movies that you just like don't have to think. You're like, it's just a fun ride, and it's very entertaining.
Yes, I loved it.
And I've watched it quite a few times. So
I've watched it a couple. So I watched it the first time. I was like, okay, that was good, and then I had the desire to go back and watch it. And I was like, that does not happen with Nick Cage movies for me, but okay. Like I dug it. It was a good ride. So do you have, I know we've talked about your favorite horror movie in the past, but do you have a current horror movie that's kind of gotten up to that level for you?
Well, that's one of them because I've watched that several times. God, what have I watched? I've really gotten into the Twisted Sisters. Do you know the Twisted Sisters? The Zosa sisters?
Oh, the Soskas?
Yeah, the Zoska sisters.
I love them so much.
I've been trying to find all their films.
Yes.
Because I watched Now You See It. Was it Now You See It 3 or 2? Whatever.
Oh, the See No Evil.
See No Evil 2. Because they did See No Evil 2.
Yes.
And I was like, oh, I mean, didn't get great ratings, but I was like, that was entertaining. And then I looked them up, and then I went back and I was like, okay. Then I watched American Mary.
Yes, I love American
which was
Mary.
like American Mary, and then I just watched Rabid.
Nice.
And then the Dead Hooker in the Trunk was their first one. I was just like, oh my god, like
the title alone had me. I'm like, that's a win right there.
The title alone, had me. So, yeah, that's what they kind of got under my skin, and not under my skin in a bad way, but I just had to.
Yes.
I just wanted to watch all of their. For some reason, it just, fun to watch all their stuff. So
they also did Elevator, which I think it's still on Netflix. So it's a series. It was an actual series where they take people and they pit them against each other, and they put them in the horrific type situations where it was what's that show that Joe Rogan used to host? Where they would have like the
Fear Factor?
Yes, it was Fear Factor-ish, but there were like giant long scenarios. So that was really fun. But if you ever get the chance, they've been to Spooky Empire before, and I think that I'm hoping they come back at some point. They're the nicest people I've ever met in my entire life. Like I've never seen anyone engage with their fans the way that they do. Like,
oh, that's good. Good
they were not behind their table at all. They were in front of their table. They were like hugging everybody and loving on everybody and just very engaging. Like they didn't sit back. They didn't like have timing or anything like that. They were just like out there. They're phenomenal. And yeah, I love them.
Well, it's funny because I read that their parents mortgaged their house to make American Mary. I was like, oh my God.
Yes. And I loved American Mary.
Yeah, it's
so good. It's like the perfect revenge. At least, it's the perfect really revenge film.
Yeah. So yeah, I guess that's what I've been trying to watch all their stuff lately.
Nice.
Because I rarely get into. Sometimes if I really like, I'll get into that filmmaker and try to watch all their stuff, and they just I don't know. And then they put themselves in all their movies too. So
yes, they were the German twins in American Mary, which was fun. So I like that they do those little cameos.
Yeah, too. I thought that was fun.
Definitely. Now, what about so I'm glad that those are your newer films that you're getting into. And as Halloween is approaching, and I mean, it's July, so we're almost there. I'm still counting it as spooky season. Do you have a favorite Halloween candy?
Let's see. You asked me this before, and I should have thought something. Well, I do love Reese's Peanut Butter Cups. I know they're not a Halloween candy.
They count. Candy in general counts for Halloween candy because any candy can be a Halloween.
Well, because you get the trial size. They're always the bite size one, the smaller ones.
Yeah, you get the little babies, and it's not enough.
Yeah, and if they're in a basket, like in a candy bag, that's what I'm pulling out of. So if I'm trick or treating, I'm pulling that out of them.
I'm taking strictly for the Reese's.
I'm taking all of those.
Now, how do you feel about? Okay, so this is a controversial one because you either love it or you hate it. How do you feel about candy corn?
Well, I hope that people keep coming to my crowdfunding site, but I do like them. I like them.
I do too. You're not wrong. I love candy corn and the candy pumpkins. Like I love all of that, and most people don't like them, and I still think that those people are wrong.
Right.
And it's okay.
Well, maybe it's just because I'm old school. I don't know. I just remember that when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Like I have very fond memories of that candy corn and trick or treating, and I'm like, I put those two together, so, blame it on my kid self for liking it. But yes, I do like it. So hopefully I didn't alienate anybody out there with that.
No, if you like candy corn or if you don't like candy corn, regardless, give us a comment. Give us a comment and let us know if you like candy corn or not. But make sure that you check out that crowdfunding for Little Z. I'm going to pop that link up again for you guys just to kind of showcase that here. Bam. So that's through seedsandSpark.com/fund/little-z #story. So make sure.
Yeah, that brings you right to the main page.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
And then from there you can find where you can go to donate. It's got all the pictures and all the information that you would need for it. Thank you so much for coming on tonight, Chris, and for talking with us a little bit and for sharing some info on Little Z and what we can expect in the future.
Yes, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
We'll have to do, once it comes out, we'll have to do this again.
Yes, then you can tell you all the crazy stuff that happens.
And then yes, which I'm sure there will be some.
Yeah, stuff that's supposed to, and then some stuff that's not supposed to, I'm sure, yes.
I mean, the stuff that's not supposed to.
That's just filming.
It's the way it goes.
Yeah.
Well, thank you again for joining us. Thank you to everybody that's watching. And
yes, thank you.
Till next time, guys, keep it spooky. Bye.